What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jeff, aka Fogi, coming to you live. Well, not live. This is recorded. I was going to do this as a stream, but I figure subject matter probably wouldn't be best for a stream, mainly because I am not comfortable talking. I don't like talking about a whole bunch of topics I'm not comfortable with and like knowledgeable on stream. But I think this topic is very important to discuss with the new Guilty Gear trailer coming out and whatnot in the last couple days, and everybody's digesting it, giving their opinions on it and whatnot. And I figure me, a complete novice to the world and systems of Guilty Gear, should hop in on this opportunity to talk about what I personally think, because like I said, I'm totally new. Xrd Rev 2 is my first Guilty Gear game. It is the first one I've ever played. I've watched a lot of Xrd 2 over the last couple years, and I think the game looks beautiful and it runs well and it looks hella fun. But for the longest time, it wasn't my game because I played Smash for so long. And so I've been playing Rev 2 for the last few months, and I enjoy the game. And then during EVO, when this announcement happened, I was super stoked. And so I'm excited and hyped for this game, but I do want to talk about the new systems, not the new systems, but like my thoughts and process on it as a complete novice to the world of. So I am using this video from Hi Fight. So I do not own this video. This is from the Japanese dev stream, as you can see here in the title there. And it's translated to kind of give an overview of what's happening. And so I also have an Evernote dump of information that goes over the changes and whatnot as well that I want to go over too. So this is going to be just one video I'm going to upload to my YouTube channel, just kind of discussing my thoughts as a complete novice and rookie to the world of Guilty Gear. So let's start the video. I want to stop right there and just acknowledge the fact that this game looks absolutely beautiful. The bar has been raised when it comes to graphics and presentation of games. I believe it's still done in the Unreal Engine, and for ArcSys to be able to go through and redefine and figure out how to manipulate the system and make it work to make games look this good is incredible on its own. That just looks so good. And those transitions from the intro screen right into the fight are hella tight. And now one of the biggest changes that people are going to notice is that you can set dash to a button. And so setting dash to a button, I think that's cool. That's fine. That's not like a huge difference. Before, it's just you hit 6-6 or to go forward, or, you know, that was your dash. But I don't think there's a problem setting that to a button. I think that's more useful than taunt and other things, in my opinion. In fact, I think having dash set to a button does open up some more opportunities with the way this game flows. So Gatling is different. It is entirely changed. So you can't Gatling off of, before in Guilty Gear you can hit punch, kick, slash, heavy slash as a Gatling. If you punch or kick, that does not lead to Gatling into slash and heavy slash. It only does punch, 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 kick, 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 if it allows you to. Your Gatlings are now going to be slash, heavy slash, and things of that nature, which is really, really weird and way different than prior games. See, they're even talking about that right now. But you can do it in the command normals, so that's cool. But, I mean, it's not the same Gatling that we're used to or have been using. And long combos with light attacks are gone. And I believe long combos in this game in general just aren't a thing anymore, which is weird to think about. I like that because in Dragon Ball FighterZ, if you ever notice during a match, when they do Dragon Rush, you probably don't notice because the action's so quick. The camera actually does zoom in and tilt just a little bit for a Dragon Rush and then goes up whenever they follow up with the next attack after the DR. This feels like that kind of camera movement and placement was added for this grab. I think with the pace of how Guilty Gear works, though, this camera movement's kind of too much. There's a reason why they have this, obviously, but I think this is a little too much for what they're going for here. I think they just need to keep it the same where the camera stays in the same spot and not has a zoom and pan. It looks neat. It looks great, but I think that's a little too much. And then throw input changes from H to D, which is kind of weird because my button layout is punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and D. And doing D for grab's going to be weird. Throws have a whiff animation, which, I mean, that's fine. It's never been before. It's kind of odd because having a whiff animation, that leaves you open to get punished. So this is like Street Fighter-esque. Grabs are fast, but not one frame fast. So you can't get, like, basically what you get to do in Rev 2 is if I'm knocked down, which happens a lot because I'm bad at the game, and somebody's in front of me and they're too close to go for a meaty, I can wake up grab and my grab will beat out whatever attack that they're up because they're not in range of their attack, but my grab is that quick in one frame on wake up. Instant block doesn't decrease block stun anymore. That kind of sucks because you don't get rewarded like you used to for being good at defense. Sure, tension gauge is great, but if I'm still getting smoked in the corner and having to hold pressure, ugh. And now blocking ground normals on midair is possible even though it follows, which is kind of, I'm not entirely okay with this because we'll see in a bit all the changes to faultless defense. It kind of makes faultless defense not really that important anymore. Because in Rev 2, most characters had a 6P, which was a universal anti-air. Well, I want to say universal, but most characters 6P would be an anti-air. With this being the case, which you'll see in this video, 6P doesn't do that anymore. You can block it. You can block it without faultless. Before, if you were jumping in on somebody, that would have to be a faultless defense. Now, you can jump in free. If you 6P me or try to anti-air, I can just block. And there's no punishment for me having to jump in and block your command normal. It's there. Now that's pretty tight. Blocking mid dash without faultless defense, I think that's fine. Because again, with the changes to faultless, having more defensive options in those moments where you're moving in the air and like dashing on the ground. Because Guilty Gear is a game primarily based on movement. And so one thing that catches me is that I will try to dash into somebody in neutral and I forget, oh, I need to stop because if I get hit, I'm smoked. Oh, I can't just stop and hold back in my dash. I have to use faultless and burn meter to not get hit in my dash. And this change is fine, but I do think that mid-air, you should still have the faultless. But let's continue. So 2D still does knockdown. So only certain moves do knockdown. Not every move. Grabs do knockdown. So that's one of the biggest changes is that you automatically tech, but you automatically tech on the ground. I'm gonna say what everybody else is saying. I cannot comment on the gameplay until I play the game myself, which is very true. That is a weird setup because Dragon Ball, Eunice, and even BB Tag, when you get hit, you can at least choose either your teching direction or how you tech. So Eunice is hold button to tech. I believe Dragon Ball is also hold button to tech. And so making it to where I automatically roll backwards is kind of weird. It does, in my opinion, look like it changes Oki setups, which, I mean, sure, you might know what Oki setups are from like Rev 2 and whatnot, but it's going to make characters play a totally different style of way, which, no, it's a new game. It's basically, essentially, this should be a new IP, but I digress. Quick UI moment. This tension meter right here is really bad. It almost blends in with the background. I really hope they do change that, getting closer to like a beta build. I know in the next coming weeks when they have Arc Revo America, they are going to have people doing the demos, and then they'll be able to get feedback. And then those people that are at Arc Revo America and play the demo get an invite code to the beta. If you're going to Arc Revo America, you get the chance to play a build of the game and get feedback on it. Also, if you get to play in that, you get to sign up for a private beta and you get guaranteed access to it. They have been saying and stressing it during the live stream to please give them feedback. They want to see what people think and want in the game. Please, 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 please take this seriously, because if we provide dumb and not actionable feedback for the game, we're going to get what we deserve, which is not a good product at the end of the day. So while this game is still, I mean, it's definitely probably close to being done, but if we can make good quality of life changes before the game is even out, from looking at this build here and the one at Arc of America, please take that seriously. Stuff like this has to change. This is so hard to read. What I like about Rev 2, and I think what I'll try to do is like put a slide of like Rev 2 up on the screen. What I like about Rev 2 is that they have the meter is big and defined, and you know what tension meter is. You can see the tension meter. This up here is your character's life bar, and then your character tag here moves with your life bar as it goes down. I don't like that. It's kind of distracting while you're playing mid-game. Also, the way you keep track of when you win rounds and lose rounds is these hearts, like it's Legend of Zelda. I really hope that it's a preview build thing and a placeholder UI thing, but if not, let us stress the fact that this UI does need to change. This UI doesn't even say Guilty Gear to me. It looks like a bad cross between Street Fighter V and BB Tag, in my opinion. I think that they need to stick more to traditional like Guilty Gear elements with the UI that make the game cool. Like, it needs to be more rock, more metal, you know? That's what I like about Guilty Gear. It's more of a rock and rebel feel, like so badass in how they do things. This feels kind of tame and just doesn't capture the spirit that is Guilty Gear, in my opinion. But yeah, when you recover like that, that's kind of weird. I hope they change that or give hold button tech, because hold button tech is a better option than you don't get an option on what you get to do to tech. Movement looks good, and like visually, this game is so good. Attack knockdown opponent is now possible OTG, so that's tight. So you get some options there. I think the important thing is that if they're gonna take some options away, they need to give us more options as well. And so we need to be, again, providing the proper means of feedback as to what we want to see. You can get OTG or set up Oki. So that's tight. So either continue your combo to the ground or you can set up your next string. That's pretty tight. Because before there were variable wake-up times, there aren't variable wake-up times anymore for those that have not played Rev 2 or are familiar with Guilty Gear. No manual tech when airborne. That's crazy. So you get hit, you go to the ground, you tech. Again, that goes back to the conversation of I hope they give us tech options. If not, that's fine. But again, they're going to please give us some better and closer tools. Roman cancel only slow down the opponent if they're in circular effect. If done during combo, it also hit and float opponent up. So raw, it knocks them up. And then let's see if it doesn't combo. You do it, knocks them back, you continue. Okay. I mean, it's not the same Roman cancel setups and like follow-ups that you used to have, but it's somewhat the same. It's kind of weird that it knocks them up. Now, doing it raw only slows down the opponent, which that's kind of weird, but I mean, I guess it gives you some advantage at that point in time. But they say so. So you get some combo options off of doing the Roman cancels, so that's fine. It's not a very long stun, which, I mean, in anime games, you don't need that much time for stun. And so this is a kind of a, I think it's kind of a cool little thing. There are some more secrets behind Roman cancel, but they do not want to reveal them yet. Which, okay, we'll have to see what happens after Arc Revo. More hands get on the game. Maybe the build's different when they get to Arc Revo. Good. I do like this though. Being able to Roman cancel during block stun. Again, they've given us a little bit more, one more One defensive option, they got rid of dead angle, which I wouldn't be able to explain dead angle if I tried. Again, this is a novice at Guilty Gear. But they got rid of dead angle and gave us the ability to Roman cancel during dead angle, which is essentially the same thing, but just a little bit different, which I think that's cool, giving you more options to get out of the block pressure and the block stun. Because before, all you'd be able to do is burst whenever you have pressure, which was your one option, and you have to wait so long to get that option back. This is cool because as long as you're building meter, and if you need to get out of a situation, it's not a huge advantage to use the Roman cancel on block, from what it seems like. And it gives you another defensive option besides dead angling, since they got rid of dead angling. That's a tight transition. Right from the time up screen to the victory screen, that's pretty clean. Some moves have cinematic counter hit. Now this is gonna be kind of annoying. Like that. I'm gonna run that back. Like the zoom in mid combo for that, I think that's gonna be annoying because it looks like this game's gonna be built around counter hits for big combos, and certain moves having cinematics on them, and if you keep eating that move over and over again, that might just be annoying. I think it's cool for like big counters, and maybe like, oh, you have like Tekken where you have not even electric, not in Tekken. I think the animation would be cool for big counter hits, but not all the time. It needs to be. I feel like I don't have the right words to say or what to say that can make that different, but I think that'll be annoying in the long run in a match where you keep getting the counter hit move and it keeps counter, counter, counter. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks great. I just think that it's a little obsessive. Easy wall bounce that can cause wall break. So this is kind of cool. So you can get them in the corner and just beat the crap out of them in the corner. And so let's see what happened here. Soul pushes the corner. Wall break after that. Now what I don't like is that when you get the wall break off of this hit here, it resets to neutral. I don't think that. I mean, sure, if you have the option to tech and you get back in neutral, cool. But I feel like if you go for a wall break, the player that gets the wall break should have the advantage of that situation and be able to capitalize on the opportunity because your defense was bad. You got put in the corner, you got to pay for it. But they will explain some more wall combo stuff here. Here's the break wall, get a buff that increases their tension gauge. So you do get a buff that gives you more meter for breaking the wall, which is kind of cool. Then you break the wall again. Oh, there is no chip damage. There's chip damage, but no chip kill. That's kind of weird. That's always been a thing in Guilty Gear, and not dying it. So what I was saying earlier in the video is not being able to What I was saying earlier in the video is that with faultless, you'd have to use faultless to avoid dying from chip. Because you cannot die of chip damage, the means and reason to faultless as of right now kind of been neutered a little bit, because you could faultless for this situation where they can just keep on throwing out their attack and you would be dead by now because you're not faultless defense. Because they're not doing faultless and chip damage does not kill, you can just sit there and hold up forever and like not have to worry about dying from chip, which is kind of so weird. No danger time, which danger time was whack. Too inconsistent. Like, I get it, it's a random element where if you clash you get the danger time and stuff, but it's just not a fun time. Nobody loved danger time. Nobody had fun during danger time. Wake up timing's universal. That's fine. That's fine. One less thing that you have to worry about when knocking a character down, what their wake up options are, wake up timing is, so that's fine. This is the info dump. So he starts with the mechanics and then has a section for Roman cancel, which I'm sure this will be changed in the coming weeks to months until release probably, and we'll go from there. But change number 1 is air dash and double jump are the same, so that's awesome. Movement's going to be the same options you have in old gear, and it's going to feel the exact same that way. Tension gauge is there. Big change, throw is now, like I said earlier, throw is now 4/6D. They have a whiff animation and they shoot for air throws. So basically you can whiff punish throws, you can whiff throws now. You have to hit a different button, which for some people, depending on how they have their buttons set, that might be a problem. I know for me, my D button is set to be below my heavy slash, and I don't typically use my D button very much. Weaker normals like 2P only Gatling into command normal, so 2P cancels into itself. So as is understood, 2P Gatlings to P into command normal, so PP command normal or K command normal. So KK into command normal. So that's gonna be really weird. That's gonna be a tough pill to swallow. I kind of hope that's a change they make, because I think one thing that makes Guilty Gear unique is that not all players play the same, and their set play is different, and they have their own combo routes. Stuff like this, where it changes how Gatling works, makes it a little bit more uniform and not as stylish, in my opinion. That's one thing that I really like about fighting games, is that not one person plays the exact same way. And so I could watch Hitachi play Elfelt, then I could watch Lost Soul play Elfelt, and their playstyles might have some similar characteristics to it, but the way they implement their game plan and how they fight people is totally opposite, or different styles of fighting, which I think is awesome. But all Soul players just put their face in the controller and just go crazy. We all know that. Souls have no brains. Longer combos aren't present, but close slash and a heavy slash does a lot of damage, so essentially, they buffed the damage from getting close slash into heavy slash, and you don't necessarily have to have a hard combo or do a hard combo anymore, which for somebody who's just now, if this is baby's first Guilty Gear, that's awesome. I know a lot of the old heads probably don't agree, because they like having the challenge. I think we're at an impasse where a lot of old heads in the FGC and anime games and fighting games, they enjoy the challenge and the skill level, basically having the ceiling be, the barrier to injury being kind of higher. And I think that's fine to an extent, but if we're going to have barriers that high, we need to have people that are that willing to teach people how to play games, and I don't think there's a lot of that nowadays. And there's a lot of people that are good players but bad teachers, and it's really hard to learn stuff if you don't have people that are good at teaching around you. Sure, you can lab yourself, but you can only lab so much by yourself until you have to either go to other resources and other people. When you hit an opponent with strong moves in the corner, there's a wall break. So yeah, we talked about the wall break and stage transitions. I don't like the fact that you start at neutral. I think that if you get wall splat and wall broken, the player that breaks the wall should have more advantage than just getting faster tension gauge. Because if my tension gauge is already full, I don't really need the tension gauge. I need to be able to like wall break, continue my combo, go into like a super, you know. Only certain moves do hard knockdown. So from what we saw in the video on here, only 2D was the one doing the hard knockdown, and I think Throw was doing hard knockdown. But other knockdowns lead to auto tech back on wake up. So that's auto teching is just, I don't think there should ever be a case where the game auto techs for you. I don't think it should be a case for that. I don't think any game should have that. And no air tech also is really weird, forcing it, in my opinion, from my novice, uneducated Guilty Gear opinion. I think that this is going to make the game more linear with the combo changes, the Gatling system changes, and how teching works and ground game works. I think the game is going to be more linear than before, and it's going to be different. A lot of what I'm saying can't really be taken too seriously right now until I can get to play the game, which you're going to hear this over and over from everybody. But until we get to play the game, we can't really make too many crazy opinions about it. But like I emphasized before, if you get a chance to play it and provide feedback, please provide constructive actionable, reasonable feedback to these people. Dead angle attack is gone, which dead angle being gone is fine because you have the roaming cancel system now where you can roaming cancel while on blocks them, which I think is a cool replacement. Has a faster startup. Combos from overheads are not possible mid-screen, so that's kind of nutty. You can get an overhead mid-screen, but you can't follow up on it. We'll see. Again, a lot of this is just what we got from this little first bit they show of gameplay. So, no stagger, no stun, no stagger, no blitz, no danger time. I'm okay with no danger time. I'm okay with no blitz. I'm okay with no stun. I wish there was a stagger on counter hit instead of some of the cinematics, because that was a good element of the game where you got counter hit and you felt good for getting the counter hit and be able to follow up and punish them for that as they try to get at a stun. If that's the wrong one that I'm thinking of, please correct me in the comments if that's stagger. But I think getting that hit off of a counter and then I guess being staggered or stunned, which forgive me for not knowing the right one. That's an element of the game that I think should still be in at least one of those. When the risk gauge is above a certain amount, attacks are forced counter hits. FD prevents the risk gauge from going out. So that's kind of nutty where you're basically it's still promoting offensive gameplay in being offensive and not being so defensive. But I think that's the wrong way to do it. Blocking in the air makes risk gauge increase a lot. Man, that's so weird. Like, I get it. I understand. They want it. Guilty Gear by nature is an offensive heavy game. I think this might be a little weird though right now. Corner combos are much more freeform than before. So 3 hits in the corner, opponent's wall splat. I mean, that's fine. If you're going to take away the free flow combos from Gatling mid-screen and stuff like that, giving us an option on the corner to punish in the corner and do stuff like wall break and whatnot, that's fine to give us that. That's cool. That's totally cool. And of course we know there are more characters and moves coming along. So once we get everything and we get closer to like an actual, build of like a beta where we can sign up for it and play it, there's not too much we can really talk about until after Arc Revo, and then they're going to announce at Arc Revo ways you can sign up for the beta if you're not there, so that'll be cool. The next section that they have is Roman Cancel. So uses 50% tension. It still cancels your current actions as it did in the previous game. It has circular effect. If done while the opponent is in hit stun, it will be a red circle effect and has a hitbox. If the hitbox of the RC hits, it floats the opponent and slows them down. I think the weird part about that is it floats the opponent. I don't mind the slowing down part, but the floating part is kind of weird. But no, we'll work with it. See what happens. If done while the opponent is not in hit stun, it has a blue circle effect. If the opponent is inside the effect, they slow down. So you get to slow them down. And what we saw in the video is the slowdown's not much. Pretty much you have like maybe 2 to 3, not even 2 seconds of hit stun, and you got to make a decision and follow up. So it's not like broken. It's not busted. It's just, it exists. It's a thing that we got to be aware of, it's fine so far. When slowed down or hit by guard cancel RC, the opponent will have a clock effect on them. So yeah, the clock will slow down is active. 2K will combo after the RC. I'm pretty certain he's saying that the slowdown persists. So what's kind of up in the air is that the slowdown exists after they're hit or whatever. So I wonder how long that slowdown is going to be, if it's percentage of how much gauge you use and stuff like that and whatnot. Well, what level of Roman cancel you use in that situation, what I should say. Guard cancel RC exists. It's okay to do in the air, so that's tight. Blows the opponent far back and puts them in a special blowback state. The opponent can block while in this blowback state. Dead angle attack does not exist, so this is a simple replacement. That's fine. Replacing dead angle with RC is fine. Again, give and take. That's a good trade. You still get a defensive option. So, and at least now you're not stuck with having just burst, where if you burst early in the round and you can't build your gauge up for some reason, you gotta wait and hold it. They didn't talk or show much about burst gauge, so we don't know too much about it, minus the fact that it moves on stage and the indicator is pretty bad. But having the ability to use RC to get out of hit stun and stuff like that, I think that's a good replacement, and that's a really good way to simplify and make the game more accessible, is the buzzword everybody's using, to the masses, versus being able to do one thing like dead angle to get out, which dead angling is not easy to do. And then finally, you can do an RC without slowdown, and there's a lot of mischief you can do with the new RC system, but details withheld. So yeah, pretty much they talked about a little bit more about roaming canceling, but they didn't give a lot of details. So I think after we get to Arc Revo, we'll hear more about roaming canceling, because I think that that's going to be the changes in what you can do with roaming cancel now are going to be a little more heavy and more. The game is going to depend more on how you use your roaming canceling again, which still plays into the classic Guilty Gear elements, which I think is cool. All in all, I'm indifferent. I don't have a reason to be mad. I don't have a reason to be happy. I'm just glad the game visually looks good and is appealing and is getting done. I do think as a community and as a anime players in the FGC, we do need to take this seriously with the feedback they're saying. They said hit them up on Twitter. They want feedback when you play the beta. So we need to voice our opinions and be not even well educated on what we're saying, but at least give constructive, reasonable, actionable feedback to the game, and not just say this sucks, or oh, we don't like this, or we don't like that. Like, say why you don't like it, explain why you don't like it, and if you have a solution, maybe present a solution, but don't just say you don't want something or we don't like this and then get taken out. You know, one big example everybody's been saying is that BB Tag, like everybody complained about BB Tag and BlazBlue CF. They don't like instant blocking. They don't like barrier. BB Tag got rid of that, and I think the game really suffers because that game is a blow up if you get hit. It's terrible to be on defense in that game, and without having more defensive options, it kind of sucks. So if we can find a way to give feedback to where we can preserve the elements of games like Xrd and other classic Guilty Gear games and still have some of the new stuff in it, that's going to be the optimal situation. But please, 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 we got to take this seriously.